Is Aaron Hicks heating up?
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thank you for making us your first listen. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias alongside my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, what's going on?
Hey, what's up? Happy Tuesday, right? Tuesday?
Yes.
Do days exist anymore?
Yeah.
Don't forget our Fan Mail Friday episodes. You can always drop your questions down in the comments section. You guys did great last week. Let's keep it up with those great questions. To our 2,300 YouTube subscribers, over 2,300, nearly 2,400. Let's get 2,400 today. Don't forget, we have an audio feed. So make sure if you don't want to watch or can't watch, if it's easier to listen, you can find us literally everywhere. Hey, in today's show, by the way, Game 2 preview against Oakland. Of course, Yankees won last night. We do have to talk about Luis Severino, however. There's some interesting comments and some history, and he's not super stoked with how his rehab has been going, and it seems to be more from an organizational standpoint, not from like how he's feeling physically. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, Stacey, Aaron Hicks going deep. Back-to-back games with a double, now a homer. Like,
you know,
what are we doing here? What are we doing?
I said it on Monday's show. I said, what's next? A home run? And yes. So
you did, Stacey. And you know what? I pulled that clip. So let's just from the top. This is from yesterday's show.
Aaron Hicks. He got his first extra base hit of 2023 on Sunday, and the look of relief on his face, and even his teammates were just so excited for him. And he drove in a run, and he scored a run, and you know, when the game was going well for the Yankees, and I just felt happy for him. So good for him getting that monkey off his back, and it was a double, and maybe he'll hit a home run next.
Stacey, you called it.
I got something right.
Hey, there's a first time for everything.
I know. And what a home run it was. I mean, you know, he hit that really hard.
Oh, he stroked that thing.
Yeah.
Like that was a no doubt middle. So they showed the third base camera view that had the what's it called? The dugout. I host. Yeah, I work on a baseball show. What's it called? A dugout. Did you see Rizzo?
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, yes. I love that. He literally immediately went, "Oh my God!" I'm so happy for. That's great. Hey, I mean, Hicks 2 for his last 7, double homer, 3 driven in.
Maybe he's feeling better. Maybe he's feeling. I don't know. Maybe he's getting sick and tired of people saying that they want to DFA him. So maybe he's just like, all right, I got to do this. But it reminded me of. There was a home run he hit against Houston in the regular season in a game. They were down 6-3. He hit a 3-run home run to tie the game. And the bat drop and the attitude after the home run kind of reminded me of that. And I was like, if we can get this Hicks back, that would be so big for the Yankees. Like, really.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he's eating up finally. I mean, it's just like you said yesterday, monkey off the back. That's just finally first home run since September of last year.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, it really is. People don't understand that when you're playing baseball and you're not hitting well and you just can't get anything out of the infield, you can't do anything. You get that first extra base hit. You could see like I said on yesterday's show, you could see the relief on his face. And it almost felt like, okay, maybe something's happening here. And then, I mean, and you saw how his teammates reacted. I mean, this is a big deal for him. So hopefully this will get the ball rolling in a good direction for him. Let's hope.
Speaking of getting the ball rolling and speaking of big home runs, Oswaldo went deep.
Yes.
That had to have felt great. First time in 3 weeks, 2-run shot in the 5th inning off of former teammates, both in Scranton and in New York, JP Sears.
Yeah. 2-run homer, 3 for his last 7 with a homer and a double, similar to Hicks. It's almost like they're both waking up at the same time, and it's as if they're both hearing the chatter about the two of them. Maybe Oswaldo heard me say that maybe he should go down to the minors.
Yeah. I mean, he needed that one, especially at that point of the game, too. It was still scoreless at that point. JP was pitching well. Nestor was pitching well.
Yeah.
So needed that bomb, needed that blast. He needed it big time, man.
Yeah, I was very happy for him and happy for the Yankees just to, have that type of a game and give Well, at that point, give Nestor run support.
Yeah, that always helps. I mean,
Yeah.
4 home runs, most home runs in the season, 7-2 victory. I mean, look, all this comes with a caveat that it is against Oakland. I mean, we all understand that. You don't got to comment that. We're all here. We all get it. But wins are wins, man. And we
these
talked
are the
about
teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah,
These are the teams you have to beat.
They have to show up and beat them. And of course, with Sears on the mound, that's of the 3 that they're throwing, that's the best they got right now. So like that you win that game is big. And remember, JP was rolling. He was pitching well.
Yeah.
So kind of stings me. I talked about that yesterday. JP Sears still has my heart. And that kind of stung. We brought up Nestor Stace. 5 innings, ended up getting charged with 2 runs. He wasn't on the mound for them, but your thoughts on Nestor's latest venture on the mound?
Better than his previous one. Going in the right direction this time, because he had 2 pretty rough outings back to back. So, again, caveat, it's the A's. But the A's lineup, actually, if you look at their numbers, they're actually better than how the Yankees are doing. So I shouldn't
their
really.
offense isn't terrible, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they have, they're a weird case. I mean, half of them shouldn't be there, unfortunately. Like half of them should be in Vegas, playing in AAA right now. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. But I mean, their offense, they can crank them out, man. Like they got some power guys. They really do. For as much flack as they're taking this year, they got some power bats.
Yeah. So, better outing than the previous 2. So he's going in the right direction. Would I have liked more than 5 innings? Sure, but I'll take what I can get right now. It was just, I felt like, oh no, because the bullpen, there were some guys who had gone a few times in the last few days and they were kind of shorthanded, but the guys who came in did great.
Yeah, sure did. 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 earned. Again, both of them scored while Ron was on the mound.
Chachi, as Boone calls him.
So big win-ish. Back in the right track, back in the saddle, back in the win column. They got to win this series. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You just got to start rattling off series wins at this point.
And the other thing, so we talked about how bad the offense is. They lost yesterday's game 8-7, but that's 2 games in a row, not yesterday, Sunday, where they scored 7. And it's the first time all season that they've done that. So, it was a good sign they scored 7 against the Rays. And, it's a good sign that they're beating a team they should beat in the A's and scoring that many runs. And, I know people will say they depend too much on the home run and this and that, but some of those guys needed those home runs. So I'm fine with how they scored tonight.
Yep. Big news today is we are anticipating the return of Aaron Judge. So it ended up being just 1 day over the minimum of what this IL stint was slated to be, Stacey. What's the move here? What do you think will be the corresponding roster move to get Judge back on the Major League roster active?
I'm thinking Calhoun or Bowers.
Well, Bowers doesn't have any options left.
Ooh, all right. Maybe not. Does Calhoun? Because if he does, then...
I believe he does not either. Don't quote me on that one, but I know Bowers does not. He 100% does not.
What are they going to do?
Well, Bowers will likely be, if he were to be DFA'd here, he would be put on waivers, the Florial route. And I imagine Bowers would get picked up.
Right. I would think he would get picked up too. Maybe. Oof.
Oswaldo has options. Oswald has options. Do they go crazy and finally pull the Hicks trigger? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. No, not after.
I don't think, notwithstanding Monday, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think that matters either. I don't think they'd do it. As much as people want them to, I don't think they'd do it. I think it's either. Oh gosh.
I think it's gonna be Peraza.
I think so too. Yeah, I think it's Peraza.
It's the easiest one. He's not playing. Let's be real. He's just not playing. I think that's going to be the clear choice here. We thought Oswald was going to be playing more third base, and he just hasn't.
Yeah.
They're not playing him there.
Is his ankle still bothering him? Is that why they're not playing him?
I don't know. I haven't heard on that.
Yeah, like they
honestly.
haven't said anything about that. So
I just if I don't hear anything, I always assume it's okay.
Right. No news is good news.
I guess. But we're going to find out today. Obviously, by the time you're watching this, listening to this, it may have already been done. But the Yankees like to take forever on their roster moves. That much we know. It'll be 15 minutes before the first pitch, and then we'll finally get the official move. But yeah, we'll see. Again, my money's on Oswald. I think he goes back and gets more at bats in AAA. He just hasn't been playing, man.
Yeah.
I would ask our viewers to comment on this, but I already know all your comments. We know it's Hicks. We know what your move is. They're not going to do it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll be playing this clip tomorrow, just like I played Stacy's clip today. Game 2 tonight. We'll have a preview of that in just a few moments. Stacy, of course, you can always listen to that game on the SiriusXM app. Tonight, 7:05, Game 2 against Oakland on SiriusXM. They have free trials everywhere. You can just Google it and find it. It's super easy. As promised, when we come back, I'll talk about Luis Severino. We kind of got to break this weird situation down, so stick around.
Make a fast break to FanDuel during the NBA playoffs because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel is the best place to wager. They have daily promotions, so there's always a chance to win. You can trust that the app is safe and secure. Plus, no more waiting to receive what you've won because FanDuel has instant payouts. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Back on Locked On Yankees. Thanks so much for making us your first listen to the everydayers out there. We know there's a good chunk of them, by the way. Thank you guys for hanging out with us every day. Coming up on Wednesday, we got to talk about the closer situation again. We had this conversation earlier in the year, Stace, a couple months ago, but we got to iron this out. Like, it's just still a confusing thing. Aaron Boone's been very reluctant to say the word committee,
but he has said 5 guys. Which he wasn't talking about the hamburgers. He was talking about the closers.
Overpriced hamburgers. Anyway, that's coming up on tomorrow. Make sure to hit subscribe on our audio or on our YouTube side. Stacy, Luis Severino. This is weird. Why don't you go ahead and, for the non-super informed, explain what's been going on with Sevy this season.
Okay, so he suffered a lat injury the final week of spring training. Because of course he did. And the initial timeline was just that he was going to miss 3 to 4 starts. They were hoping he was going to come back in April. And here we are. It's May 9th. He's more like end of May for the timeline. And he was slated to make a rehab start for the Tampa Tarpons back on May 3rd. And instead he threw a sim game on Cinco de Mayo so that he didn't have the rehab start yet. And there's just a lot of strange stuff happening right now with him. And it's very evasive from the Yankees in a way, because we don't really know what's happening here. And, he finally kind of spoke out about it.
Yeah, he did. And this is what he had to say on Sunday, this past Sunday. This is coming courtesy of the New York Post. Quote, "I think it was unnecessary not to throw in low A." Of course, that's Tampa. "But I do whatever they tell me to do." And he went later on, said, "But I feel good." And then they also asked him if the Yankees explained to him why he didn't have a rehab start, instead did a sim game, which, again, if you're not fully aware what these are kind of buzzwords, rehab game means you're pitching for the minor league team. You're in the game. It's live action. It's the whole thing. A sim game is like, all right, we're going to face live hitters, throw someone in the box, and then pitch, sit down for 15 minutes, come back up, like act like you're pitching in a game. But when they asked him if the Yankees explained to him, he kind of like laughed it off and chuckled and said, "They tried to, but whatever." So it's weird. It's especially given the history, which we're going to run down in a second. But apparently the plan now is for him to pitch on Wednesday in Moosic with the Rail Riders, but he doesn't want to because that's an education day, which means that game starts at 11:05 a.m. And apparently Sevy's not super stoked about either staying in Scranton, which there's a hotel right there, and he's also not stoked about making the 2-hour drive at like 5 a.m.
I mean, I guess that's understandable.
So, but do you want to pitch or not?
Right.
That's
Yeah,
where I'm at with that part of it.
yeah, I don't like the whole "they tried to, but whatever" quote.
Yeah, what does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah,
Like, are you like, is he just pissed?
I think so.
And
And
like, I mean, again, given the history, and Stacey, you could run down the history here, but like, it's grounds for being upset.
right, because he had a lat injury last season. Remember how they said this lat injury wasn't as severe as last year's lat injury? That was the verbiage that came out. He was mad then because they put him on the 60-day IL. And when he was placed on the 60-day IL, he said, "I'm not okay with it." And he came out and said that to
Like
um
straight up, those
yeah,
exact words. That was on the post as well.
yeah. Um and he had been throwing mid to upper 90s at the time, and it was just like we were even wondering, what is going on with Sevy and why are they
It was essentially a shutdown at
yeah,
that
they
point.
shut him down and he didn't want to be shut down.
Yeah, he was like, I'm ready. I'm almost ready to go. What do you? So, and this at this point, this happened on August 23rd is when they
Mhm.
placed him on the 60-day.
Yeah.
Again, remember where the Yankees are at this time. You know, they're still kind of struggling. They have lost a lot of arms. Frankie Montas is on the team at this point, but they just made the trade deadline moves about 3 weeks before this. So, like, it's not like the rotation was jam packed, right? So, I don't know. It's weird. All of this is weird. And considering that Sevy's in a contract year, I don't think this bodes super well for the future, whether the fans want that or not.
Right.
TBD, but it's just a weird saga right now.
It really is. I understand his frustration from his point of view. I also understand the Yankees not wanting to rush him back just because his injury history is so thorough. I mean, he hasn't played a full season since what, 2018? That's a long time ago. So I kind of understand from their side, but it's like he said, it's just the verbiage they use and the way they try to do things with him, and it's just odd. And it feels like he's not coming back after this. You said it's
No.
his, he's going to be a free agent, and why would he want to come back to this? And
Yeah.
maybe he needs a new place, like new scenery to do better. I don't know. It's just I don't like this at all because I love Sevy. Sevy, when he's on, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he's so electric, and it's so much fun to watch him. But the injuries are just constant, and I don't know.
Now you're in this weird sticky thing where he's not happy. The Yankees are obviously not stoked about him always being hurt.
Yeah.
But now Sevy's not stoked about how they're handling the injury because he's like, I'm ready to go. Yeah.
And I mean, they do need him.
Yeah,
So
and that's the other thing. It's not like, oh, well, Clarke Schmidt's pitching lights out and we don't
right.
have a space for you. It's like, no, the second you're ready, let's go.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That's weird. That's also weird. And I think that's where the frustration's coming from him, because he's seeing what's happening with the team. He's seeing how these other guys are doing, and he wants to go into the rotation and be like, no, I'm here. I'm back. Let me help.
Yeah, because think about it this way, Stacey. Now here we are, one day from this episode's release, one day from him making his first rehab appearance, which he's going to need 2, 3.
Yeah.
Like, that puts him back another 2 weeks because of that decision last week to not let him throw that game on Wednesday, because Boone said he was going to pitch on that Wednesday.
Right.
And he didn't. They pushed it 2 days for him to throw a sim game. Like, a sim game is not a rehab start. That is just not. It's not the same. And that's the other thing too, Stacey. You remember back when this injury originally happened, like you said, 3 or 4 outings he was going to miss.
Right.
That would warrant likely no rehab. They wouldn't have had to throw in a rehab game because he was coming out of spring and happened at the end of spring. So he would have just filtered right back in, thrown like 50, 60 pitches.
Right. I think
start, and then just kept like Nestor.
Yep. I was just going to say that, just like Nestor. That's what the original plan was. And I don't know where the change happened. And I don't know.
It's weird, man. It's weird. Let us know how you're feeling about this stuff, because I don't know. I get the caution, like you said, Stacey. I get the caution, but at some point, it's go or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Like, if he's feeling fine, he's feeling fine.
Yeah.
That's it. Pitch. Go now.
Yep.
They need you. They really do.
They do.
Let us know how you're feeling about it. Do you feel wary about how the front office has been handling this situation? We're going to talk about game 2 of this series, Oakland and New York. Of course, you can catch that game 7:05 tonight on Sirius XM. We will chat about the pitching matchup when we come back. Back here on Locked On Yankees, we are going to preview the second game of the series with the Oakland A's. Hey, if you made it this far on our YouTube side, comment the word firecracker. I like these, Stacy. You guys showed up last time we did it, the last 2 times. And you know what? I just think it's funny because people are just like confused when they go to the comment section. Like, why is everybody saying this?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah.
So comment the word firecracker in the comment section so we know that you watched all the way to the end. Stacy, pitching matchup, Drew Rucinski versus Clarke Schmidt. Let's start with Schmidt.
Okay, so Schmidt against Cleveland, 4 1/3 innings, 2 runs, both unearned, 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Didn't last as long as we needed or wanted him to, as usual.
I mean, Sevy's not coming.
I know.
As we know now. Because, I mean, at this point, I was thinking, we were all thinking that he'd be out of the rotation. Because remember, the Sevy timeline was like mid to late April.
Yeah. I mean, he would have been way gone out of the rotation by now. I mean, Sevy would have made at least 2 starts by now.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, maybe even 3.
Yeah. Go-tos for Schmidt tonight. I think it's really just avoiding middle down against Oakland. It's really that's kind of been a trouble spot is missing middle part of the plate. So I think that's really the go-to is he's got to live on the corners. Like we said, there are some bats. Don't be fooled by that record. There are some bats in that Oakland lineup. So got to avoid that. Drew Rucinski, kind of a weird story for him. He's bounced around. He's been on the Angels. He's been in Miami. He's been in Minnesota. 3rd team in 3 years. He's with the Oakland A's, obviously, this year. Hasn't really started at the major league level until now, Stace. He started started this season in the minors with Las Vegas, and he has started in his minor league career, but hasn't really been able to do it at the major league level.
Yeah, his last start was against Seattle, 3 2/3 innings, so even fewer innings than Clarke Schmidt. 5 runs on 4 hits with 5 walks and 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, so, Seattle's got a good offense that is still trying to click.
And apparently patient with the 5 walks. So
yeah, a little bit. So this is just Rucinski's 3rd start of the season with Oakland, and obviously all time. This is his 1st year with Oakland. Fastball, slider, sinker, change, curve guy, lots to throw at you, and he kind of mixes a lot. Not a guy to blow you away. Not a guy. He's low 90s, upper 80s. So we'll see if the Yankees can kind of feast off of that a little bit here tonight. Try to win the series, get back in the win column on the series side. Are you calling this series, side note, a must win, like must sweep?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a must sweep.
I think it's a must sweep. You have to sweep teams like this. Not that everyone is sweeping Oakland, because some teams have had trouble beating them in the first game, and then they've won the next 2 games convincingly. Texas has done that against them, and there was another team that did that against them.
The Angels lost game 1 to them and then ended up splitting the series.
Yeah.
So it was a 4-game set. Yeah, I mean, again, it's that offense. That offense is not terrible. Yeah. Not as bad as everything else says. It's just they can't pitch.
I mean, bad teams can win up to, 60, 65, 70 games. And, they tend to sometimes beat teams that are way better than them. It just happens. So,
yeah, that happens. It for sure happens. Drop your predictions in the comment section as well. Of course, the word firecracker. But drop your predictions. Who do you think, or how do you think about Clarke Schmidt here tonight? And I mean, how many more rotation turns for Clarke? I don't know with this Sevy stuff, dude.
I know. It's just, as we said in segment 2, it's just crazy to me that they need Sevy back. Why are they dilly-dallying, as my mother would say? I don't understand why they're doing this.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
So let's say, okay, he starts Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, off day, maybe pitch on Sunday, but possibly a Tuesday start. That's next Tuesday, and then would potentially pitch on Saturday if he needed a 3rd rehab. Right. So we got 3 turns of Clarke Schmidt.
That's a long
That extra
time.
week. That extra week. Oh, well. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I only got questions. I ain't got no answers.
I know.
The Oakland series continues tonight, 7:05. First pitch from the Bronx, of course, on Sirius XM. You can catch John and Susan on the call. Coming up on tomorrow's show, Stacey, we're going to talk about the closer situation in New York. Of course, try and figure out what in the world the Yankees are going to do, plan on doing, or, may even come to the conclusion that they don't have a plan. We will talk about that on tomorrow's show, so make sure to subscribe. That's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you tomorrow.